pretending to be asleep doesn't work. A young boy is sleeping in his bed on a usual night. He hears footsteps outside his door, and so he peeks out of his eyes to see what is happening. The door swings open quietly to reveal a murderer carrying the corpses of his parents. After silently propping them up on a chair, he writes something on the wall in the blood of the dead bodies and then hides under the child's bed. The child is scared beyond belief. He can't read the writing on the wall, and he knows the man is under his bed. Like any child, he pretends that he slept through the whole thing and hasn't awoken yet. He lays as still as the bodies, quietly hearing the breathing from underneath his bed. An hour passes, and his eyes are adjusting more and more to the darkness. He tries to make out the words, but it's a struggle. He gasps when he finally makes out the sentence. "I know you're awake." He feels something shift underneath the bed. What's in the basement? Mommy told me never to go in the basement, but I wanted to see what was making that noise. It kind of sounded like a puppy, and I wanted to see the puppy, so I opened the basement door and tiptoed down a bit. I didn't see a puppy, and then Mommy yanked me out of the basement and yelled at me. Mommy had never yelled at me before, and it made me sad, and I cried. Then Mommy told me never to go into the basement again, and she gave me a cookie. That made me feel better, so I didn't ask her why the boy in the basement was making noises like a puppy or why he had no hands or feet. Yes? When I was a child, my family moved to a big old 2-floor house, big empty rooms and creaking floorboards. Both my parents worked, so I was often alone when I came home from school. One early evening when I came home, the house was still dark. I called out, "Mom?" and heard her sing-song voice say, "Yes?" from upstairs. I called her again as I climbed the stairs to see which room she was in, and again got the same, "Yes?" reply. We were decorating at the time, and I didn't know my way around the maze of rooms, but she was in one of the far ones, right down the hall. I felt uneasy, but I figured that was only natural, so I rushed forward to see my mom, knowing that her presence would calm my fears, as a mother's presence always does. Just as I reached for the handle of the door to let myself in the room, I heard the front door downstairs open, and my mother call, "Sweetie, are you home?" in a cheery voice. I jumped back, startled, and ran down the stairs to her. But as I glanced back from the top of the stairs, the door to the room slowly opened a crack. For a brief moment, I saw something strange in there, and I don't know what it was, but it was staring at me. All I saw was red. I check into a small hotel a few kilometers from Kiev. It is late, and I am tired. I tell the woman at the desk I want a room. She tells me the room number and gives me a key. But one more thing, comrade. There is one room without the number, and always locked. Don't even peek in there. I take the key and go to room to sleep. Night comes and I can hear the trickling of water. It comes from the room across. I cannot sleep, so I open the door. It is coming from room with no number. I pound on the door. No response. I look in the keyhole. I see nothing except red. Water still trickling, I go down to the front desk to complain. "By the way, who is in that room?" I ask. She looks at me and begins to tell the story. There was a woman in there, murdered by her husband, skin all white except for her eyes, which were red. Solo camping trip. A female survivalist and trained outdoors guide who loves to go solo camping returns home after 2 weeks of being out in the bush. She didn't see a single soul in her whole time out there, but when she develops her disposable camera film, she finds a roll of film with numerous pictures of her sleeping at night on different nights. She has never gone camping or hiking since.